This is another sign of the times, an analysis, and a commentary. It's also about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations? And that should be a very important question to ask. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. For when they speak great swelling words of emptiness, they allure through the lusts of the flesh, through lewdness, the ones who have actually escaped from those who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are slaves of corruption. For by whom a person is overcome, by him also he is brought into bondage.
A Florida woman by the name of Angela Ryan has written an op-ed for The Independent where she expressed her disgust with herself over her vote for Donald Trump in 2016. Now, Ms. Ryan had stated the fact that the reason she ended up, deciding, I guess Trump's my guy, is because she was shocked, absolutely shocked, about the fact that James Comey came out just a few days before the election and said, hey, we're reopening this FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton and her emails, which isn't exactly what they did. They were looking at other people. They weren't looking at Hillary Clinton, but Comey phrased it in a way that would suggest that Hillary Clinton was still under investigation. And Angela Ryan, in her op-ed, admits she thought, I can't vote for somebody who was under investigation by the FBI. That's ridiculous. Of course I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. I am a Republican after all. I had hoped, she said in her op-ed, that other Republicans were going to come in and, kind of make him not be crazy, because she said she was disgusted with some of the things he did on the campaign trail and the sideshow he had created within the Republican Party. But screw it, she voted for him anyway. And now she regrets it, as many Trump voters do. Not even most, but many. There's plenty. We've seen them. Joe Walsh is out there every day. Anthony Scaramucci's out there every day. Oops, they all made mistakes. And they're admitting it. And that's good, right? That's nice. It's really good for personal growth that these people admit that, I made a mistake, I understand that, and I am sorry that I did it. But then the op-ed kind of goes into territory that makes you really think, really? Here's a couple lines. There are no guardrails. There are no checks and balances. Legal subpoenas, Trump says ignore them. Or makes up some bogus immunity claim. Trump and Barr spit in the face of our legal system as our elected leaders. Democrats and Republicans alike refuse to hold this administration accountable. I'd taken for granted an America that was the world's leading democracy, a believer in human rights, and a nation that valued the melting pot that made us the envy of all. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined a presidency like this one. Really? Now that I find hard to believe. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined this. Were you not paying attention on the campaign trail? Were you only watching conservative media? Because all of the rest of us outside of conservative media warned that these things would happen, that it was going to be a complete, as she says in her own article, shit show. And that's actually the word she used to describe it. And she's shocked that it has become that. But those of us who didn't vote for Trump are not shocked. We're not surprised. There is nothing this man does that actually makes us think, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. No. The attacking the city of Baltimore, locking kids in cages, drawing on a hurricane map so he doesn't have to admit he's wrong. Those are crazy things. Those are inhumane things. Those are disgusting things. Those are illegal things, some of them. But none of it's shocking. This is right on par with what we expected from the president, who had already been credibly accused of sexual assault or harassment by nearly 24 women, by who was caught on tape saying he likes to grab women by the genitals. The man who had bankrupted a casino, an airline, a university that turned out to be a complete fraud. Yeah, everything in this man's past pointed to the fact that he was going to be horrible and things were going to get really, really bad. There's nothing shocking about any of that. We all predicted it. We all tried to warn the public, and we've been warning them every day since then too, that hey, things are gonna get worse. And guess what? We've all been right about that too. But this isn't meant to pat ourselves on the back or patronize this poor woman who understands she made a mistake. I think for me, this goes back to what kind of media are you ingesting? Is it only the right-wing hacks? Is it only Fox News? Because if it is, then yes, you would be shocked to see what's happening in our country today. Are you only reading Breitbart? Zero Hedge, Daily Caller? Then yeah, it would probably shock you to step out into the real world and see what's actually happening. And that's my advice for people. Broaden the horizons, right? You might be shocked to learn that things outside your bubble aren't quite as good as they seem.
Again, and what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations? And that should be a very important question to ask. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 12. But these, like natural brute beasts, made to be caught and destroyed, speak evil of the things they do not understand, and will utterly perish in their own corruption, and will receive the wages of unrighteousness, as those who count it pleasure to carouse in the daytime. They are spots and blemishes, carousing in their own deceptions while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, enticing unstable souls. They have a heart trained in covetous practices, and are accursed children. They have forsaken the right way, and gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Beor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. But he was rebuked for his iniquity. A dumb donkey, speaking with a man's voice, restrained the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds carried by a tempest, for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. For when they speak great swelling words of emptiness, they allure to the lusts of the flesh, through lewdness, the ones who have actually escaped from those who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are slaves of corruption, for by whom a person is overcome, for him also he is brought into bondage. For if, after they have escaped the pollutions of the world, through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, they are again entangled in them and overcome, the latter end is worse for them than the beginning. For it would have been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than having known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered to them. But it has happened to them, according to the true proverb, a dog returns to his own vomit, and a sow, having washed to her wallowing in the mire. Yes, it's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. And all these are more signs